seconds.
I will beat you up later.
Excuse me.
All right, we'll move.
Can everybody hear me?
No.
Yes. Temperature check. Can everybody hear? Cool.
All right. My name is Antonio. With y'all's approval, I will be facilitating this General Assembly.
Woo!
This is Jess. She will be co-facilitating if that is okay.
Yay.
Rachel is taking minutes.
Yay.
Clark is our timekeeper. And Papa Bear is taking stack. Alright. The method that this will take is for stack, you need to actually approach Papa Bear and he will write your name down on a list and then we will call your name out when your turn to speak comes up. So it's none of this raising hands and getting numbers that we did in Occupy Raleigh. You actually get on a physical stack. We are also simplifying some of the hand signal stuff because we are a very large group. When we are discussing anything today, there will be no direct responses. There will be no clarifying questions. If you wish to speak and do any of those things, you will get on stack with Papa Bear. Is anyone unfamiliar with the general kind of hand signals that we use at General Assembly? Point of information. All right, we'll make this exception. Okay. Point of information. What about that? We're not doing regular part stack. You get on stack. Otherwise, it just gets, generally speaking, it just gets a little too chaotic. But anyone can get on stack. Be clear. So we all know the hand signals. It looks like okay. The other thing is the order of the agenda. First, we're going to have report backs from each of the occupations in North Carolina, along with report back from one gentleman that's been to various other occupations. Those will last roughly each about 5 minutes. We're dealing with roughly about an hour of report backs from all our wonderful North Carolina occupations. After that, we will be dealing with proposals. We have 8 proposals. 3 of them are generally administrative in the sense that it has to do with how we as North Carolina occupations will communicate with each other. So my guess, and you never know, is that those will not take a whole long time. The other 5 have to do with really meaty topics about what occupation is about. Things about corporate personhood. Things about Amendment 1. There is one about ballot restrictions and easing them so third parties can get on our North Carolina ballots. There is a proposal about calling for a 1-year moratorium on foreclosures, in particular so there's time for all this fraud to be investigated properly. And there's also a proposal to encourage all the North Carolina occupations to embrace teach-ins about Occupy-related topics in their own occupations. All right. So, the first thing will be report backs from the North Carolina occupations. We didn't really discuss the order, so let's go alphabetical. Take the stage.
Streamers!
Occupy Asheville.
Occupy Asheville! Where's Victor?
Line check, Victor!
Victor!
All right, I'll give it a shot. Back to that one.
Moving on.
No, he'll do it.
Ryan can do it.
I can do it.
Let Ryan
Victor will hopefully step in a moment. He was the one who was supposed to do this.
Occupy
All right,
CH.
so I'm from Asheville. We've got a couple people here, Victor and myself. I'm Ryan. Over in Asheville, we just got evicted about 4 days ago. The city council, who we worked very closely with, myself included, basically told us that there was no compromise. We said, we basically said, give us another space. We need a public space in which to have an occupation. And they said, no, we won't give you anything and we won't consider any alternatives. So they passed an ordinance which kicked us out. What we're doing in terms of strategy, our primary focuses lately have been trying to stop this postal service from being shut down. as an occupation, we put a lot of energy into in publicity into that particular effort because we think that the Postal Service is a really meaningful service and something that we want to stick around, and that privatizing the Postal Service is not so cool. We also have put a lot of energy into tuition hikes, and we had a whole delegation that went out that was a combination of Occupy Asheville and Students for Democratic Society from UNCA that went out to the tuition hike protest in Chapel Hill, which was fucking awesome. Amazing. Okay, so we also have been involved in our local community, working a lot on food. Asheville is famous for food. We have a huge local food, slow food movement focus.
Did you bring us any?
Sorry. So we've continued to work on that. We are working on both the UNCA campus and with Gordon Smith, who is one of the city councilors folks, to try to bring a more sustainable food policy to Asheville and to UNCA. We have worked on a lot of direct action. One of the ones that's up and coming right now is foreclosed homes. That's happened across the country. We're very aware of it, and Victor would, if he was here, could speak to that. I don't know where he is. He's been the point person for organizing that. We've also done, we've done an enormous amount of things. One of the big structural things that we did was we implemented a spokes council. We're just in the formative stages right now, but God, it's been a behemoth. The facilitation has literally had probably 50 meetings trying to figure out how to do this thing. We've had GAs dedicated to it. It's enormous. We've had maybe 5 spokes councils so far. It's hard. It's really hard to take big groups like this and narrow it down to single people and say, now it's your job to represent the voice of all these people. Really hard to do. But we're trying to figure it out. Yeah. Anybody have any other kind of main things that you feel like I left out? One of the big challenges, I'm mostly involved with finance. I've been involved with facilitation as well, but more recently it's been finance. One of the big challenges that we've had lately is trying to find a sponsoring organization to do the fiscal sponsorship. I know Raleigh's sponsoring organization. I've talked with OWS Finance. I've talked to a lot of people, and we've had a real challenge with that. And we've had this ongoing question about how to do financial coordination between occupations. That's something we've been really curious about because in Asheville we've got, $1,000 or something kicking around. Different occupations have different amounts of money, and every now and then we actually need money for things that we do. And it would be awesome if we had a network in place among different financial coordinating groups so that we could reach out and ask questions, ask for money, distribute money if it's needed, buy tents, things like that. That's about all I've got. I will ask, though, that Victor be given just a few seconds to fill in anything that I missed at the end. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we're doing Boone, which is western North Carolina. Well, western North Carolina, please come to the mic.
You want Boone or you want Occupy WNC?
Is Boone in
Oh, it's different.
No.
No.
Separate. Okay.
Never mind, sorry. Then Occupy Chapel Hill, C.
No, Boone is separate.
Do we have Boone? Yeah, Boone is here. We didn't know you were here. Sorry.
We have Occupy Boone.
Okay, Boone.
Come up and talk.
They want us to give a report back about Occupy Boone.
Look like I'm gonna be doing it.
Come on up there.
One quick note, anytime that you're going to speak, please say your name, whatever you want to be called, and what occupation you're from.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bree. I've been working with Occupy Boone as well as Occupy Raleigh. I've been basically their web designer. I've been going back and forth to some of their GAs. Right now, Occupy Boone has been inactive this semester. We had a movement for a while where we was doing a lot of student action and trying to get students involved and tuition raises and stuff like that, but unfortunately our GA stopped meeting after the holidays. So I don't know what else I can tell you other than that. So there you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck on the way back. resurgence.
You'll come back.
So now C,
Hopefully
Occupy
we can
Chapel Hill.
help get the resurgence going. Are you going to the college meeting tonight?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Do you want to call it?
Yeah. Oh, I will in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So I'm Steve Peterson. I'm with Occupy Chapel Hill. People from Occupy Chapel Hill, raise your hand. Wow. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to give a short summary of what we're working on, but everybody from Occupy Chapel Hill here, please. We have our events coordinators here, Heather S. and we have Katja as well. If you all could come on up and help me out, that would be very appreciated. Yeah. So, Heather, Katja. So, right now we do not have a camp anymore. After much discussion, we disbanded the camp. We have right now a little bit of problem, in my opinion, of sort of a collective vision without the camp to bind us together. But we have spun off, and there's many different groups working on many projects. I'm active on a project to amend the Constitution, the federal Constitution, to eliminate corporate personhood. I know that there's a group working on health care reform. There is groups working on Amendment 1 and stopping Amendment 1. There's environmental groups working very hard on fracking issues with North Carolina Warren and other local causes. So with that, maybe just to give an example, maybe Heather would be good enough to list an example of some of the events happening this week in Chapel Hill.
Oh, this week. It might be better to give just an overview of what the spring is going to look like here. One thing we're coming out of is that we had a lot of involvement with our town council about ordinances that were passed as soon as we decided voluntarily to vacate. The council took that opportunity. It wasn't even the council. It was whatever. It was complicated. They they opened the doors to being able to exert a lot more control over about who was doing what, when, and where. So we got really involved with attending council meetings and issuing statements and press releases about that. This is labor intensive, so a lot of energy has been put there. But we're thinking about a sort of spring fling, celebrating some of the, I was saying earlier, the human capacity for creativity. This is not just a movement. This is a movement about joy and possibility. And so, right? So we're going to do a lot of sort of guerrilla gardening, community gardening in public spaces stuff. We're going to, Jeremy Gilchrist, some of you know from Raleigh, Occupy Raleigh, started Occupy the Sky. So we're going to have a kids event where we put Chinese lanterns, biodegradable, up in the air. They get to choose their color, stuff like that. So we're looking for some really upbeat moments to share with the larger community as well. We've been also working really hard at reaching out to Durham and Raleigh Occupies and building some ties and ideas there for things to come. So I could ramble on about that, but I'm not going to. We're really sort of drawing in to jump back out, I think. So we have we started a joint group with Occupy Durham called Occupy Health and Wellness NC. We have these flyers. I think Anja and Bert have more if you want. So we don't know if there are other, not many, I have a few. We don't know if there are any other Occupy Health groups. We'd love to coordinate, but we called ourselves Occupy Health and Wellness NC rather than Chapel Hill or Durham because we recognize that we'd like to have other people come and join us. One of the things we're advocating for is single payer, and so we've been just forming like our ideas and beliefs. We just believe in healthcare for everybody, and everybody who needs healthcare should be able to access it. And then
And then I've been doing separate work on Against Amendment 1, but I'd like to try to bring that back into the Occupy Souls. And one other thing is I've been doing legal observing stuff, so if somebody wants to talk to me about legal observing, please do. We could use a lot more. Thanks to everybody who's at Legal Observe already.
Well, I think we used up our 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's 5 minutes exactly.
Oh, right on.
Thank you.
Occupy Charlotte.
Woo, Charlotte!
Hey, my name is Greg. I'm from Occupy Charlotte. We're pretty well represented here. Nice to see you. Anyways, I think y'all probably heard about our eviction that happened on January 30th. Our tents and property were illegally disposed of. We're still having legal things that we're going, or legal avenues that we're taking about that. But just because they took our tents, they still have not taken the ideas that we all here probably live, believe, and what we're fighting for. And since Charlotte is Wall Street South, we're going to probably need some of your help. First, I think we all know about February 29th, shut down the corporations. You can go to shutdownthecorporations.org. We're going to be targeting Bank of America. And if anybody is available, we would definitely love to have y'all down. March the 20th is the first day of spring, and we're going to have a call to action about what we're going to do for the Bank of America shareholders meeting and the DNC. So we'll be informing all of y'all more about that. So love for y'all to come. May 9th, that's the Bank of America shareholding meeting, and we want as many people down there as possible because Bank of America is obviously headquarters in Charlotte, and they're a very, very bad corporation. Very, very bad things. And we definitely want our voices to be heard, saying that we will not allow corporations to do whatever they want to exploit the people, the environment, and basically our future. So we would love for all y'all to come down for that. And then we have the DNC that's going to be in September. That's a ways away. The city council has been doing whatever it is possible to try to kill the Occupy movement, and as you can see, that's not going to happen. And with that said, what we're doing now, we are basically informing ourselves, educating ourselves, so we can educate each other, so we can have a presence at the DNC. And Occupy movement is definitely the hottest name right now, and it will be the hottest name. And all the ideas that we hold, we will have a stage to focus on it at the DNC. But right now, or very quickly, I know I don't have much time left. Very quickly, we attend city council meetings. We're trying to go the right avenues to basically help out the citizens of Charlotte, help fight ordinance like the DNC ordinance that was passed, that if y'all haven't heard already, it basically gives the police the right to intend what you have some things. It gives the police the right to pretty much lock you up if they believe that you have some items and you're using them intent for harm, such as having backpacks, coolers, satchels, bike helmets, bike locks, scars, Sharpies, anything that's heavy that you can throw at somebody, cause injury. And it's a very bad ordinance that basically takes the rights of citizens. It's a legal way to profile, and there's things like this that we will want to teach y'all. We would love for y'all to come down because Charlotte will be the center, the eyes. It will have the eyes of the world on it, and we will want the Occupy movement to be heard, to be seen, and we want people to understand the ideas of the Occupy movement. And we're here in solidarity. And I wish I could say more, but how much time?
Alex has something.
I was just going to clarify the action next Wednesday on February 29th, shut down the corporations that he mentioned, where we're going to Bank of America. It's at 1 p.m. And we're meeting at 600 East Trade Street. And we'll have that posted up on our website shortly, occupyclt.net.
And I guess lastly, there's one more thing I do want to say. Occupy Charlotte has been working together with local groups such as Greenpeace, Rainforest Action Network, 350, just to name a few. We need all the activists to come together so we can actually work for a greater cause, because if divided we fall, united we stand, and once we're united, we can actually make a difference. And I think that's all.
Occupy Durham. Durham.
There's a few more Durham people. Louder. Okay.
Pick up, please.
Okay. So Occupy Durham has a host of direct actions and campaigns that it's currently working on. I will go through our list. We have meetings and working groups dedicated to such issues as foreclosure, the court, the healthcare system, which is working with is working with Occupy Chapel Hill. Speak together. Occupy Health and Wellness NC is Durham and Chapel Hill together. Maybe you can speak louder than I can. Okay. We've got we did a campaign to protect our public spaces. There was a charter school wanting to take over Old North Durham Park, and we teamed up with a group to protect that, try to fight for it. We teamed up with NAACP to celebrate International Human Rights Day in December. We currently, just this past week, there was a prison demo with Occupy Chapel Hill and people from Internationalist Books. And last night I was at an event where a group, Nia Wilson, who is someone who is really active with Spirit House, thank you. She and her organization has put a lot of their heart into thinking about and talking about how women and families are affected by the prison industrial complex, and it was really inspiring conversation. People that were at the demo Monday night made an announcement, and it looks like there might be some more integration of between Chapel Hill and Durham, and getting more people to talk about the prison industrial complex in our state, and I'm excited to see how we can build on that. Also, we've been having conversations about privatization of education and what is going on with the charter schools. So we, as a state, we already kind of are losing this battle, and in Chapel Hill and in Durham, the school boards and the city councils are trying to fight these schools, and so we've been talking about that in Occupy Durham. We haven't yet planned any demos, but it's something that I think is really important for all of us to be thinking about, because it's going to be a tough battle to fight, and so we need that grassroots energy. I think we're done. Okay.
Thank you, Daryl.
Are there any occupations that start with the letter E? Are there any occupations here that start with the letter S?
Fayetteville.
Please take the stage.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm with Occupy Fayetteville. You'll have to excuse me. I'm recovering from an illness and I'm not faring so well in this weather. We have about 5 people here today. That's about half of our total membership, sadly. But we are there. We have not had an actual encampment, but we did flirt with the idea.
We occupied the Market House.
Yes.
The central icon of Fayetteville. For a few hours.
Right. We had what we called the Great Bank Robbery Tour, where we went around downtown Fayetteville to all the banks and protested in front of each one of them. We went to the distribution center for the post office there, which they have decided to close, which is a great employer of vets, so they will be losing their jobs because of that. We recently had a presentation at our library to bring our issues to the public so people could better understand us.
We told our story. We had different people telling different parts of all the things we did. We sounded very impressive. And we have a host. We have our regular meetings once a month, and one of the local churches, which has always been behind all the progressive stuff, has given us space. So we feel very fortunate about that. I don't know, Fayetteville can sometimes be a difficult place to find a friendly place to meet, just to meet. And so this church is a great gift. We are small, but we are determined. And the other thing I want to say is if we call for an action in Fayetteville, please don't be afraid to come. When we did peace rallies, the first year we only had 1,000 people, and I know there were people who left their kids at home because they weren't sure what was going to happen. But actually, Fayetteville people are very friendly. They may be pro-war, but that doesn't make them mean. They're very friendly, and it's safe to come to Fayetteville.
Occupy Greensboro? Anyone from Occupy Greensboro here?
Hi, I'm Matt.
That bear, the big guy in blue.
We are Occupy Okay. Wow. So at Occupy Greensboro, we start in the community. We believe that people around us are the most important people, and we need to serve them first. And we try to build a strong base there. And we've built, through our GAs, a very strong family base. We believe that's important. And that's very important to get feet on the ground and doing actions in the community. Speaking of which, we do a lot of actions in the community. We do a lot of protests in the community, but that does not limit our definition of what action is. And action can be anything that we can use to help the community. And we like to do that as well. We've branched out a lot as far as going to other places. We sent a bus full of 56 people, mostly from Occupy Greensboro, though we did have a couple friends from Occupy Winston-Salem as well. 8 occupations apparently. Got in on that. We got a bus and took 56 people from this state up to DC, and it was a pretty big turnout. That and Occupy Congress in general, for everyone who went, I appreciate it. We've had a number of really interesting actions. We had a 3-day art fest with music and an art gallery showing on the first day. The second day had that was the third day. The second day had a large mural painting in someone's garage. That was amazing. The third day featured a radical puppet show, poetry readings, various musical guests, all sorts of things. And it may not have been the most in-your-face in the community thing, but it sure as hell made us feel good, and that was really important. We've also had,
Yes, there's a couple of things that I'm really excited about coming up. Well, one thing is our city council in Greensboro actually came out against Amendment 1. That's something that, is one of the things, they did the right things, maybe for the wrong reasons, because businesses are actually have a reason to be against Amendment 1 for insurance purposes and all that, so that's something I'd encourage everyone to contact their own city council about. And another thing is on March 14th, we're having a movie showing. Some people made a movie about the foreclosure issue and how banks illegally trace the don't have the actual trace of the ownership of
deeds in country. So that movie is called Let's Lose Our Homes, and we're actually showing that at a local theater. And so just really dedicated people.
And that'll be the Carolina Theater if any of you want to come out.
Yeah.
Speaking of work we've done with the City Council, we recently put a proposition in front of the City Council for participatory budgeting. If you haven't heard of it, you should check it out and try to get your Occupy involved with your City Council. What we were doing is urging them to take 1% of the city budget and put it into the public's hands and allow us to vote and find ways that we can use that money, whether it be for fixing our roads or very specific things that we the people see need to be done instead of a board of representatives.
May 1st, May March, where will be all unions involved in March on May 1st. Somebody else needs to say that.
We're having a May 1st march. We're trying to get a bunch of big unions involved and really everyone we can, everyone in the community. We're going to be doing some flyering to that effect and try to get as many people as we can to go on strike or do anything that they can in solidarity with May 1st.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have a bookstore that opens 7 days a week to meetings and all, and we're just looking forward to the idea of temporary occupations in the spring once the weather warms up, maybe just 5 days here, 5 days there about a specific topic, and I think there's a lot of potential for that to spread the awareness about Occupy.
Next Wednesday, we're taking a group of people down to Winston-Salem to protest in front of the Wells Fargo Bank.
Yes.
I'm sure Winston will talk about that, but we need you guys to show up, so come to Winston and help us out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
North Carolina occupation starts with G, like Greenville, or another one here. Go on. Occupy Henderson. Hendersonville.
We're Occupy Hendersonville. I'm going to be nice and loud because we love you. I'm Jeff. This is Robert, and we started out as a completely dedicated, peaceful group. We've lately just went mobile like a MASH unit. We go from place to place to place to place like that, so they don't know where we're going to come from, when we're going to turn up, and what we're going to do.
All right. Yeah.
We conduct teach-ins. We have a local community gardening thing that we're doing. We just got back from Occupy Congress. Awesome. We did get involved with Asheville and grouped together as to the post office closing, which we lost, and we don't feel good about that. And I'm going to turn it over to Robert, short and sweet.
We've been writing a lot of editorials in the local paper.
Louder!
Mike Jackson. We've been writing a lot of editorials for the local paper. We get a lot of people arguing with us and trying to find out what we're about. Yeah, pretty much said it all. Occupy Congress was awesome. There were 1,000 hippies on the lawn in front of Congress. There were anarchists. It was great. It was like this only on steroids. So that's all I got. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Nope. We are taking the minutes of this. I think we don't have enough time to people's mic these kind of report backs. If you cannot hear, this information will be online for anybody to read. I know it's still great to hear it in person, and you can move in. But if you don't hear it, this is going to be available. There is a gentleman that wanted to report back from an effort called Occupy the Homeless, and there he is.
Come on.
All right. Can you hear me back there? Yeah. Occupy Homeless. It's Occupy_homeless. My name, for all practical purposes on this topic, is at Adam, at 0M. All right. It's about being homeless. Obviously, economic injustice and all that crap. It just kind of trickles us down, and a lot of us are in that situation. Medical reasons, and I've joined the group of homeless people as well, and I'm trying to get more people. Yes, I'm trying to get more people to just friend that page, like that page, and just have more people talking on topic. It's kind of a new thing. I'm talking to more and more homeless people, trying to loop us all in. I would like to do some direct actions. I got a lot of wonderful ideas. Just boom, here we are. You don't forget about us. We're the voiceless, the faceless, anonymous lost in the crowd, and I need us to be heard more. And it's not an easy thing for me to stand here and do this. So please occupy.
What town are you from?
I'm actually here with Occupy Winston-Salem. They know that I exist. On that page, I am faceless because the homeless are faceless and nameless. And I just want more love, more help, more likes.
Love you. Good deal.
Occupy, that's a Facebook page, Occupy _ yes, it's also a user group, and I will have a website soon. I'm playing in the background with that right now. And I want to get as many who can identify with that situation. They're mobile homeless, there are a ton of us. And I just, I'm trying to give power back to the least of us right now. And, well, thanks. Occupy _ homeless, that's on Facebook. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. More H's, North Carolina H's, HI's, J's, K, L, M,
Maui.
And N, we have 2 N's. There's Occupy Nation, Occupation Nation, and then Occupy NCSU.
Hey guys, my name's Kurt. I'm involved with Occupy Raleigh, but I'm also involved in a group called Occupation Nation. We are kind of following along the idea of what Walkupy is doing. Starting in June, a group of us that's about a dozen people right now is going to be marching through 21 states, 3 countries, also Washington, D.C., traveling 6,500 miles, ending in Portland, Oregon. Our goal for this project is essentially to spread the Occupy message as far as possible, inform as many people as we can what it is we're out there, what we believe in. Some of the projects we're currently tackling, because we're walking everywhere, we have to carry everything, makes things a little more difficult. We are going to have a van traveling with us for like heavy storage purposes, but we are bringing a library that is free for everyone with us all over the country. That's going to have probably around 1,000 books. I don't think we could support any more than that. And we're going to be, passing those out. The pamphlets that I was giving you guys out earlier came from us. We found we're really good at getting free things from people, so we're going to be sharing those resources all over the country. And yeah, so kind of, one of the big ideas behind what we're doing is sharing all these resources, connecting different occupations, getting everyone to work together in spreading, our idea of what it is we're doing and what we believe in. We're currently drafting our Declaration of Occupation, which is really, really awesome. We've got tons of ideas that are going into that. It's, I imagine, going to be a fairly long process, but it's something we're really excited about. The whole thing is kind of really exciting. It's the idea of taking Occupy everywhere, which I know there's someone from Walkupy here. He'll talk about that later. I'm sure he's really excited about it too. But yeah, it's really posing some interesting challenges, but we're looking forward to all of them. So definitely check out our website. It's occupation-nation.org. Because a lot of us have been very involved in planning this event, it hasn't been updated in about a month, but as soon as this weekend's kind of done, we're going to get back into things. So, cool.
Wait.
Oh.
And you can totally come.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone is invited if you're down for walking over 6,000 miles. It's occupation-nation.org, and it has our route on there. I think there's about 58 or 59 cities that are listed, and Jesus, I don't even know how many towns, because we didn't even put those on there. So, our Twitter, excuse me, is Occupation N, because Twitter doesn't let you have a name that long. So, yeah, and we're on Facebook. Same name, Occupation Nation.
Do you need more voting?
Do we have what?
Do you need more voting?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Say yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Okay, yes. You need everything.
Find us afterwards.
Yeah.
We'll answer all your questions.
Any questions
I'll
you
come
have,
around and talk.
Any questions you have really need to go afterward to the individual that you have questions. We just do not have time in this gathering for back and forth. We are going to take a
Can I just, if you're involved in Occupation Nation, can you raise your hand so somebody knows who you are right now? Yeah, you can just look around and see these are the people that come.
And you can always mic check once we're back at the occupation or once this is done and ask. We have a quick announcement before we move on to Occupy NCSU.
Okay, guys, we're like maybe halfway through the GA. Thank you for your patience. I need you to continue to be respecting the process and be patient. And if you need to break away to use a restroom, be kind to the people on this street. A lot of them have rules of no occupiers in there. I gave them $1 right up here to Isaac Hunters to use the bathroom. They were very happy about that. Please respect establishments if you use them. Thank you.
All right. Occupy NCSU.
All right, everyone. I'm here representing Occupy NC State University, and I'm going to try and be quick because we have a lot to say. So first up is we mic check John Stump. We encourage everyone to go see this. It was long, got most of it in there with the help of Occupy Raleigh. Great event. Second, we then occupied the Board of Governors alongside a lot of the SDS chapters that I see here today. We chanted them out of the room, took over the Board of Governors, held our own Student General Assembly in the meeting. Encourage everyone to look it up. And then on top of that, now upcoming events. First is March 31st. We are working with Greenpeace, 350.org, to occupy Duke Energy, who will soon be merging with Progress Energy just at the other end of the street, their headquarters. We are holding an Occupy event on our campus. It is a conference, film screening, folk festival. We encourage everyone to join who's interested. It's going to be a conference directed at mountaintop removal specifically. We're tired of blowing up Appalachia. March 31st. NC State University. Marching down to Progress Energy's headquarters. March 1st. We are marching down, holding a demonstration outside there, then going back for kind of food and a conference. We're going to be screening The Last Mountain on the side of our library, so picture that blowing up a bit. Then, following that, we're doing Occupy Earth Day here at the Capitol, where we are currently standing. We're looking to try and get this off the ground. As many occupations that can plug in on behalf of Occupy Raleigh. So we'd like to get a lot of response to that, going after the rate hikes, and then in addition, the fracking issue. We don't need to poison future generations' groundwater. Right where we're standing. And then finally, we are an Occupy College group. Occupy Colleges is a national organization that has something like 700 college organizations within it. They have a GA every Sunday online. You can actually see the voting right there. It is highly technical. Encourage all students to attend. And then finally, tonight's Student General Assembly. We encourage as many students to be there. We want to build network ties. Begin building the student branch of this Occupy movement. Youth-based. Everyone's a student. You're forever learning. So if you have an alma mater, if you have a school you might think about attending, do come and join us tonight at, I believe, 7:30?
7:30.
Over at the camp.
No, 707 West Jones Street.
Oh.
We have the building, so...
707 West Jones Street.
It's about 2 blocks away from the camp.
We will march over from the camp about 7:15.
And it's open to not just students, but any university teachers or employees, anyone, community colleges, regular colleges, just anyone that's involved in the university system, or even if you have children that are going to school, show up.
And that's everything. Thank you.
Woo! Are there any more N's? Oh, any O's? Any P's? Any Q's? Occupy Raleigh.
That's us.
Hi everybody, I'm Derek. I'm with Occupy Raleigh. So events. Well, this weekend we're hosting the statewide GA for all of North Carolina. It's pretty cool. You should come. Apparently there's like 118 people here, by the way. Let's see. We occupied that sidewalk right over there for 24 hours a day for 42 days. It was really hard.
It was. We did it.
Sometimes it was one person, usually Kurt Zender, with the
with the entire occupation on his lap because we weren't allowed to put things down on the ground. So that was interesting. We started on October 15th. We had 19 people arrested for overstaying our permit. Yeah. And as of the day after Thanksgiving, we moved to our current location, which is in the Triangle, there at Edenton and West, and we've been there ever since. And which makes us, by the way, the longest standing occupation in the United States of America. So I'm pretty proud of that myself. In solidarity with Occupy NCSU, we did help mic check John Stumpf, and let me just say that our 5-minute mic check was far more informational than his entire hour-long speech. Lots of facts. He had none. Yeah, we displayed more leadership too. He scurried off stage like a bunny.
Who's this?
The president and CEO of Wells Fargo. Let's see, what else? Currently, we will hold that space in the Triangle at least through the end of March. Some of us are working on maybe opening up a community center where we can have internet, we can have learning, we can have teach-ins there, we can have a storefront for the community that sometimes isn't necessarily comfortable approaching a bunch of wackos in tents. Although we do have a bunch of people who like to come visit us in tents, especially Friday and Saturday night at 2 a.m. because we are in the Glenwood South District and that's when last call is. I've had a lot of interesting conversations that are very alcohol-driven. But they're fun and they're good, and you know what? I have those conversations every day I'm at that occupation. And let's see, what else do we got going on? We have a library. It's free. Take a book. It's fine. You don't even have to bring it back. It says Occupy Raleigh or ORNC Library on it, so it's a nice little souvenir for you.
Hey, Derek, Occupy Crabtree.
Roger wants to talk to me and talk about Crabtree Valley 6.
Yeah, so I'll just say, I think it was kind of cool because, here we're at the historic public square. We did everything we could to assert our right of public assembly, and it was, repressed. So on Black Friday, sort of the original plans got a miscarriage because the corporate Crabtree police and the city police came down in force and said, we heard you want to do a flash mob. You'll be arrested if you bring in time. Instead, some of us went ahead on. We went to the food court, which was probably the biggest, public square, of course, completely under corporate control. But we took the stage. We got a good response. We got a message across. As we were leaving, they still arrested a bunch of us. But now we got great publicity out of it. Maybe we'll get our time in court, and maybe we can make the case that, as they have in other states, they have said that public malls are inviting all the public. You do have First Amendment rights. So we hope to make, because that's all about, corporate taking over our public space.
Point of information, Charles and I got arrested for eating McDonald's.
What?
True story. Totally fair, I probably deserved it. It was correlation, not causality. Anyway, what else we got?
You're on time, yo.
I'm out of time. Thanks.
Bye.
Any more R's? Any more R's? S? Any more? Any S's? Any T's?
Traverse City was
If there's any U's. Probably no V's.
Where's
W. Okay, there's a couple W's. With some Wilmington.
Occupied.
And Occupy UNC, any of the UNC.
Yeah, you will at UNC.
Paul. Paul, we'll call you out.
No, I think Paul left for a little bit, didn't he? Oh, there he is.
Hello, Paul. I walked with Walkify from here to Atlanta, and everybody made it there safely. And then some of the crew has decided to continue to Chicago for the G8 Summit NATO. So there is a group of people walking to Chicago. They have websites, they have Facebook, it's really easy to find them and contact them. They like to post a lot of stuff on Facebook actually, so you should easily find them. But yeah, report back is that it's awesome. We had a really good message spread. If anybody was thinking of starting an outreach walk, it was really effective. Walking through every town, we met, everybody you would never expect to meet. We heard stories. I met so many of you actually because of Walkify. That's awesome. And you could have that same experience. And a lot of people that we met did not know what Occupy was, did not know what it was about. But now they do. Now a lot of them have input into the Occupy movement. Like a lot of people might feel intimidated how to just like show up at an Occupy camp. It seems easy. It's not for everybody. But yep, they're on their way to Chicago, doing good. I don't have much else to say except for I'm part of the W's, so I felt like saying yes, I love you.
Occupy Wilmington.
I'm Star. They also call me Auntie Bear. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. Mine's on paper because I'm not. I can't remember. We've been working on about 5 main issues in Occupy Wilmington. We no longer have a encampment. We got evicted a while ago. Lasted for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
But one of our campaigns is to end corporate influence in politics and end corporate personhood. And on January 20th, we dressed in black and carried a cardboard coffin of corporate personhood in a mock funeral procession from the federal courthouse in Wilmington to the offices of U.S. Senator Burr and U.S. Representative Mike McIntyre to deliver copies of the resolution to amend. We also had a float carrying a 7-foot Statue of Lady Justice in the local Martin Luther King Day parade. Scales of justice were weighted down with corporate money while the 99% carried no weight. We had delivered the resolution to amend to our North Carolina Representative Susie Hamilton, requesting that she take it before the North Carolina legislature. And we presented the resolution to amend to the Wilmington City Council, and currently we are following up asking council members to pass the resolution as soon as possible. Future plans include taking the resolution to bordering counties and other bodies in Hanover County. In honor of Martin Luther King and in support of the MLK parade, Occupy Wilmington camped at the parade site for 2 days. The encampment gave us a chance to interact with the community and share meals and distribute information. We have also been invited back to occupy the Martin Luther King Day parade again next year. Our Occupy Foreclosures North Carolina campaign has been holding open meetings to encourage homeowners who have received a notice of default. We've done the research and shared the information with them. We encourage people who are in foreclosure to contact the local legal service firm, which offers legal support in the area of foreclosures. Additionally, we refer them to a local attorney who has been experienced with foreclosure and bankruptcy. We have an upcoming training workshop planned with a nationally known consumer protection attorney. We are also beginning a campaign around voter ID. A working group has been formed and is putting together ideas and actions to alert the public and the Occupy movement about the changes in voting procedures and requirements to the state. The Republican Party has been engaged in a massive national campaign to disenfranchise the black voters in the last few years.
and voter ID laws and other laws to limit ballot access have been introduced. These restrictions limit ballot access to the poor, college students, and the elderly also. We also have a court action, which we're currently in contact with local unions. This will be an educational action. It will be on March 2nd from 12 to 5 p.m. in Wilmington, North Carolina. You can find all of this site if you go to our website, occupywilmingtonnc.org.
Real quick to add to that, since I'm also out of Wilmington, we're going to be, the teaching we're doing with the lawyer on the foreclosure, we will be live streaming and capturing it, so we'll make it available for playback for everybody across the state.
Thank you. Occupy my hometown of Winston-Salem.
Yeah!
Hey everybody! Hey! I'm Andrew.
Hey Andrew.
Tony. From Occupy Winston-Salem. We've been doing all kinds of stuff. We're going in all different directions all at once. We got foreclosure working groups. We went up to Occupy Congress in D.C. with the Greensboro folks and the Charlotte kids. It was really fun. We went and talked to a couple of our representatives' aides. We couldn't quite talk to them. They were too busy. But we definitely we let them know that we were there and put our voice in. We've been involved in a couple things with our city. We never established an Occupy.
We're in a very repressive city, both in terms of the police force and it's a very corporate city. So I'll give you an example. We have had over 240 checkpoint stops last year. The next largest number was 91. I believe that was Chapel Hill. So that gives you an idea of how the presence that the police force had. So we actually went to the city and was like, hey, we're looking for a place. Let's see what we can work out with a permit. And they offered us a place that was basically the parking lot right next to this police station. And they wanted to put a fence around it so it'd be like a concentration camp. And we're like, no, it's not going to work out.
So searched at any time. We had to waive our right to unreasonable searches.
Yeah. So we found
unsatisfactory.
We actually found a law. But even though the city attorney established that it was legal, and so it was illegally shut down a couple of times, and after our very first meeting, one of the city council members actually tried to rush through a law that would basically make city hall lawn private. Yeah, and it was
That got shut down pretty hard. That was not very hard to get people to come out to protest.
Yeah. So actually, Occupy Durham and Occupy Greensboro represented, and we had an awesome city council meeting. They actually struck that down, sent it to another committee, and that committee struck it down. So now we have a victory against the police repression, and we can have a meeting. We just can't have tents on City Hall. We can have a meeting 24/7. So in terms of what we're doing now, we actually have a campaign that's called Occupy Every Ward 99 Days. So we started out on February 14th. Reason why is not just because it's Valentine's Day, but it was the anniversary of the Wisconsin Rebellion, and so homage to that, and we had a cake and everything. So
I was stupid. It was nice.
He was occupied. We're gonna put some of that on our website.
You can check it out. It was a lot of fun. Just trying to do more fun events. Next Wednesday, most importantly, next Wednesday for the National Day of Action Against ALEC, which is the American Legislative Exchange Council. Really, they craft legislation to give to lobbyists, to give to politicians that's pro-corporate, anti-people, basically. One of the principal contributors to that is Reynolds American. They are one of the biggest contributors to ALEC. They do a lot of work behind the scenes. A lot of their board members are board members on the ALEC committee.
The vice president is on is the treasurer for the corporate board of ALEC, the vice president of Reynolds American, and he's on the board of governors for the UNC system. So he was there when we actually had WinstonSalem State representing in that anti-tuition hike thing. So he's everywhere, and that's a really sick thing that someone who's part of an organization that's looking to privatize schools, also on the board of governors of the UNC system. So come out on, if you're nearby, Wednesday we're going to be protesting 4 to 6 at Reynolds American headquarters.
That's on our website. This is Thomas. OccupyWinstonSalem.org. Check it out.
So on the 13th, we're going to have an arraignment, and I've chosen to go ahead and take it to trial because it's an unjust law that violates that violates your right as a citizen to protest. Historically, camping, whether they say it's not a form of protest, if you go back in history, camping is one of the biggest forms of protest, or otherwise there would have never been Hoovervilles. So I just wanted to make that announcement on the 13th of next month. There will be a trial.
So come on Wednesday, love us all there. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. All right. Myself and Mr. Alvin Friedman here. We drove out from Western North Carolina, which is an Occupy for everybody whose city doesn't have its own. We've been meeting in Silva. We've had direct actions in Bryson City, in Silva. We're planning more for the future. Thus far, we had a really lovely piece of street theater that was well attended on the anniversary of Citizens United. Let's see, we're working on Move to Amend. We are working on actions to help people follow up on the November 5th Move Your Money. And we are meeting with the County Board of Commissioners by attending their meetings to get our voices heard.
School tuition.
And one of the other big things we're doing is trying to engage the student body of Western Carolina University around issues of tuition and debt. So that's most of what we've been up to. Come out and see us anytime.
Thank you. Are there any other W's? Can't imagine there's any X's. Any Y's? Any Z's?
Everyone?
Where?
Occupy Asheville. The follow-up. I wasn't here.
Are you Victor?
Yeah, I'm Victor.
Okay,
Don't
gotta be
work
quick.
Yeah, Victor.
Gotta be quick.
Alright, super fast. Outreach and the media working group are working on 2 different documentaries right now. One on the homeless issue in Asheville. The homeless are being criminalized. The man who came up here that was homeless is not kidding. They're subject to curfew. Due to curfew laws, they're subject to arrest, harassment. They're pretty much treated as subhuman. That's one thing we're doing. We're also working with Cytel, one of the worst employers in Asheville right now. We're releasing these 2 different documentaries, working on it with Occupy eventually. We're also knocking on doors to get to Occupy foreclosing homes right now. So that's another thing we're doing. That's pretty much the bulk of my work right now. Ryan said a few things. Postal Service. Postal Service it pays much better than Walmart, about 3 times as much. We're in solidarity with them. We don't want to see all the jobs go to Walmart. And they shut down about half the postal services. Half the postal services across the nation. So we can't really accept that, you know. Unacceptable. So we're in solidarity with them, trying to get that to change, but I don't know what we're going to be able to accomplish. Also, one final thing. It's been discovered that if you have an ordinance drafted with petitions of 15%, at least 15% of Asheville's registered voters, and you pass it to City Council, by law they must either accept it within 30 days or put it up for public vote, which means we can actually pass ordinances. So I'm working with CELDF right now. Forget what that stands for, but we're going to make that happen along with everything else. So that's what we're up to. Thanks.
There are people here from Occupy Gainesville, Florida, that wanted to give us some information. So. Come on.
Gators. Nice. Yes. All right, cool.
So we're from Occupy Gainesville, Florida.
North Carolina. Go Dogs.
It's awesome to be here, and it's awesome that all of you are here today, and what a cool thing. We're doing this Southeast Regional Convergence of Occupations in March 23rd to 25th in Gainesville, and y'all should come. It's going to be awesome. What else? What else?
A lot of workshops, networking.
Anarchist author Cindy Milstein has been involved in Occupy Philly as one of our presenters. We have presentations on the environment, Earth First organizing, anti-oppression. There'll be some assemblies like a women's assembly, some other things. It's also, we're open to your ideas. We're doing a weekly Southeastern Regional Conference call, which you can register for by going to interoccupy.org/SE-call, or just go to Interoccupy
Show me your
and
phone.
look for upcoming calls.
You want a battery?
Next one is on Monday night at 6.
You sure?
And there's a website for this. We have, I think, 5 of these posters.
I've got 2 extra batteries,
So if you're
I can plug it in.
to like a, I don't know, a rad space, an underground space that Occupy activists go to, then please take one and put it up. Or you could go to our website, which is occupysoutheast.org. And we encourage you to go to occupysoutheast.org and click on the register link, and you can let us know that you're coming and what you would like to see happen there, or what you would like to present there, or, you know, whatever. There's like some space, it's a little survey, so that's what I got.
I guess to me, I'm really inspired by the idea of us like organizing regionally. You know, it's cool to organize on our like city level and then statewide level, but like how cool to have a whole Southeastern network of all of us like working together.
Yeah, we have issues in the South, right, that are unique to the South. And so a national Occupy thing is awesome, but we were thinking that maybe if we could start talking about some of the stuff that we deal with in the South specifically, it would be really awesome. Do y'all want to talk about what we're doing in Gainesville? Y'all want to hear what we're doing in Gainesville?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, recently we're starting up this work on foreclosure. There's a copper superfund site which is foreclosing the land for 30 years. For 30 years, and the residents there have cancer and are watching each other die off. And there's this woman who's being evicted or being foreclosed on. So we're gonna do some work with her. We do a lot of work with Youth for Men too. A lot of us are involved in that.
We also have action plans for F29 for Bank of America, and also we started like a food sovereignty affinity group within Occupy Gainesville that's working, or potentially is going to be working with like a lot of already existing organizations that like plant stuff around town, but we really, I think, generally want to take over like a vacant space and do things with food in those areas.
Also, March 11th, the anniversary of Fukushima. I think it's a national day of action. There's in Florida, in Levy County, there are 2 reactors being built by Progress Energy. What the fuck? That's good big. So there's action going around that, and maybe there's something in your region too. I don't know. Okay.
I'm glad we're friends.
Yay! North Carolina. I believe that is all the report back.
Just finishing up report back.
Okay. We have a choice. We can take a 5-minute break, or we can continue on to the proposal. So let's do a temperature check. Would you like to take a 5-minute break? Keep them up. It's going to take a bit to kind of see. Not a whole lot of response here.
Ask the other question now.
Would you like to continue on to proposals? All right.
There's your response.
For proposals, we will be reading the language of the proposal. We will take a stack. We have only roughly about 10 minutes to discuss these proposals, so this is going to be pretty quick. And if you will get on stack, you have 2 minutes to talk. And we will be pretty strict about enforcing that 2 minutes.
Remember, the faster you are, the warmer we'll all be.
Another thing to keep in mind is that we do not speak for the occupations, for all these individual occupations. And so there's a couple of people that are going to, from facilitation, from other occupations, that are going to explain exactly what it is, what we are doing. Which is you and you. And if you want to get on stacks, once we do open up a stack, pop it down over here. We are explaining what we're proposing, which is basically proposing stuff.
I will be giving everybody, when we're doing comments and stuff, 3 minutes. I'll give you two, that's, you have two minutes.
And this is an explanation of...
So quick explanation. A concern was raised that we can't actually represent our particular occupations in being here. In other words, we can't pass things for them. But what we can do is say this coordinating body endorses these actions, and then we can take it back to our individual general assemblies or spokes councils and take action based on what we've consented upon here. That's what we're about to do.
In other words, this is Occupy North Carolina. We're not Occupy Charlotte, Occupy Raleigh, Occupy Winston-Salem, Occupy Greensboro. This group right here is Occupy North Carolina. We're now a collaboration, and this is a whole new group. So everything passed here is passed through Occupy North Carolina. We can take them back to our GAs and vote on them then, but everything here right now is Occupy North Carolina.
Coordination.
Woo! Okay, and I don't have these in any really particular order. That's just kind of how they came up in our discussion of facilitation between all the occupations. The first one is about corporate personhood. There were actually two occupations that have consented on these sort of issues. One is Occupy Chapel Hill, please come up, and another one was Western NC, I believe. And they collaborated on the agreement to use this language for this specific proposal. So we read the proposal.
Yes. All right, thanks. Garrett from Western NC. Hey, okay. So Occupy Chapel Hill passed, and Occupy Durham passed the same thing. It had about 15 whereases and stuff. So we made it a lot shorter in conjunction with Occupy Western North Carolina. So this is what we came up with. So whereas corporate power and money have distorted the democratic process of our country, the North Carolina General Assembly resolved to work towards a constitutional amendment holding that 1, corporations are not people, so do not have inalienable rights and should not be given constitutional rights, and 2, money should not be considered free speech in elections. Some initial actions will be to adopt a statement to send to the North Carolina legislature to support this amendment. Nothing in this amendment will be abridge freedom of the press.
All right. Would anyone that would like to get on stack, please come up there and write down. And we'll give, 20 seconds, 30 seconds for people to mosey up and do so.